Hello, implementers. My name is Anthony English, and this is episode number 7 of Learn to Implement, where we teach you how to fight procrastination, manage perfectionism, and implement some of those business ideas you're always learning about. And today, I want to reflect on time, and specifically spare time. Specifically, that there is no such thing as spare time. When you think about it, so many things we procrastinate about, we put off for some other time when we're going to have time, and we'd never have time. And when this has got an analogy to other things in life, such as food or money or energy for that matter. Spare time. Because what really is spare time? Spare for what? Well, spare for doing stuff or spare for not doing stuff. The point is that if you set aside something with no real direction, with no real purpose, no real sense of why you want to do this, then the reality is it's not going to get done. Maybe you'll make a start on it, but how many times have you maybe downloaded a tool, downloaded an app? Maybe you've signed up for it, but then you never set it up. You never configured it. You never learned it. You never implemented it. As I say, this has got a lot of analogies with money and with food. You think about it with money, for example. If your money does not have a purpose, chances are it's just going to get filled up. It's going to get spent on the next emergency, on the next thing that comes through. I've been listening to some personal finance podcast, and the idea it recommends is that you give every dollar a job. And there's a lot in that, because it's not so much what it is that you direct your energies, it's what you don't direct your energies at that is going to that's where you're going to waste. That's where you're going to waste your money. Is those things that you have not either budgeted for, planned for. It's just going to eat up your money. Those things are just going to come through and burn up your money. What about with food? Same thing. You're going to eat anyway, just as you're going to have to spend money anyway, and you're going to have to spend time anyway. But if you don't eat with a purpose, and I tend not to eat with a purpose other than to satisfy my hunger, but if you are eating without a purpose, chances are you're just going to eat whatever is there. You are going to just treat the food as spare, and spare is going to is going to chew up your time, your money, your food. So what's the alternative? The alternative to be hyper productive, to allocate every single 10-minute slot, and to stay up late and to work harder and so on. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm simply saying that when you are clear about your intention, when you are clear about why you want to do something, who it is that you are going to be if you get this done, if you develop this skill, if you develop this habit, if you build this side hustle, if you are clear on why you want to do it. So not just, because I want to earn an extra $1,000 a month, but here is how I would use that money. And hopefully something that's a positive purpose and not simply paying off debt, although that's a good thing to do. Similarly, with your time, if you do have that sense that, hey, this is working towards this time, this effort that I'm putting in, this planning that I'm putting in is working towards things running smoother when we take that holiday, when we go on that vacation, when I plan even that trip down to the hardware. Well, while I'm there, I know that I've got 3 or 4 things that I want to get, something that I want to ask about. That's going to save me going back and going back and going back again. That's a better use of my time rather than just filling in the time because it is spare time. So I suppose the lesson for today is that time that has a purpose, and it doesn't mean that it has to be intense. It doesn't mean that it has to be very focused or even hyper productive, but time spent with a purpose, even relaxation time that's spent with a sense of here is how I'm planning to relax rather than simply I'm going to pick up my phone and flick through Twitter or TikTok or the news or something else. Doing that with a purpose will help you to fight procrastination. And now, but what about perfectionism? Okay. Well, perfectionism is a different thing. It's where you've got, in a sense, too much purpose and you are constantly assessing, I didn't get there. It's not good enough. I didn't make it. I'm going to be speaking about that in future episodes. But the intention here is that really you do it with intention. You spend your time with some intention. And the intention, as I say, does not have to be something very difficult, something very great, even. I'll give a very simple example. I'll probably go back to this example in future episodes. I walk down to my coffee shop every morning, and that's like a 15-minute walk. And during that time, I'm doing usually one of 2 things. One is listening to a podcast on the way. But the other is simply spending some time thinking about stuff, but thinking with perhaps with a bit of purpose. That is very, very productive time, even though to the people I'm walking past, they're probably just saying there's a guy just walking. Okay, he's just walking down to get a coffee. Having that sense of purpose, that sense of achievement, will help you to stop beating yourself up that you have wasted your time, that you didn't get to something, and that you procrastinated. It will help you feel a bit less overwhelmed or a bit less guilty that you've been learning all of this stuff, been researching all of this stuff, and that you never implement. So there is, if you'll accept it, there is no such thing as spare time. It's time that is spent well, even if it's not spent in a work environment in a super productive way. But it's time that's spent with some planning, with some intention. So this has been episode 7 of the Learn to Implement podcast with Anthony English. We look forward to some future episodes where I'm going to cover some of those topics, such as perfectionism.